Welcome to the news. Today, Heritage Valley Hospital announced its Employee of the Month at its West Palm Beach, Florida location. Junior Marty, shown here, was hired in the hospital's pathology lab in 2006, having gained a treasure trove of experience examining every type of body fluid and waste material during the past 20 years for Quest and Clueless Diagnostics, a private lab well known for its excellence in billing both the patient and his or her insurance for its not infrequently inaccurate diagnostic test results, and then billing both concerns again and again for subsequent retests until finally getting the results that very much determine the course of a patient's medical treatment. Information is valuable to a doctor as a GPS unit's accuracy is to a navigator. Marty's experience at Quest and Clueless Labs was nurtured by the current pathology lab manager of Heritage Valley, John Ball himself, a veteran of Quest and Clueless's Coral Springs, Florida location, who took Marty through the paces of every station: chemistry, microbiology, hematology. Both worked there 10 years ago. Ball bailed out of Quest and Clueless 7 years ago due to a bleeding stomach ulcer, to assume the lower paying but less stressful position at Heritage Valley, where he wasn't under pressure to do 20 lab tests per hour plus incentive pay for production beyond that. Once at Heritage, Ball prepared the way for Marty's tenure by helping him skirt the hospital's politically correct employment policy with the old-fashioned crony hiring technique Ball and a key associate in the Human Resources Department used to secure the position once it became available in the Heritage Pathology Lab. Marty's relatively fast rise as Employee of the Month was a result of a work ethic developed while in his pre-cloned state, shown here with another brother and sister. As well as through the University of Hard Knocks, he both received and bestowed in the county lockups on-the-job training program for lab pathology. Quest and Clueless, or more specifically Mr. Ball, quickly hired Marty after graduation and used his inbred talents to legally rob the old, the sick, and the infirm, and their health insurers. Through its bonus and incentive lab tests and retest program, both sought what little health and money remained of those who depended on those test results. For example, physicians would prescribe drugs for non-existent health conditions indicated by inaccurate lab results, or they wouldn't do anything until the patient either got better on his own or ended up with a much more serious medical condition requiring hospitalization. But enough of this background material. Marty's award as the Employee of the Month at Heritage Valley Hospital in West Palm Beach, Florida, is based upon these performance measures as judged by this panel: the application and interpretation of physician consults and orders, documentation of the ensuing patient encounters, and helping coworkers, being a real team player. First, Marty's penchant to provide service interpreting medical orders and consults deeply depended on how it was written. If the writer wrote anything beyond a 12-year-old's understanding, Marty would hem and haw much more than usual, interpreting things between the lines that were not ever intended, or not inferring the simplest of mental deductions that would provide some comfort and relief to both the patient and his or her provider. Panel of judges feel that Marty definitely has a future somewhere in the Heritage Valley Hospital's administration. Secondly, Marty's documentation of patient encounters and lab results is the wonder of the lab pathology world in the Heritage healthcare system. With Shakespearean effort, 3 and 4 and 5 rough drafts, but with a struggling 5th grader's result, he documents his daily encounters and lab work. And so it takes him 3 and 4 and 5 times longer than most people to do that. It was thought that a bilingual employee would add value and flexibility to the workplace, however, few had a clue as to what other language he spoke, since oftentimes hand and finger signals and pictures were used to simply communicate with him. God knows what other tongue contains as many grunts and groans that came out of his mouth, and at other times from his sphincter. Basically, it turned out that one of the fringe benefits of his employment in the Heritage Healthcare System Pathology Lab is the opportunity to learn English as a second language. Lastly, in the category of helping coworkers and being a real team player, Marty's presence enhanced departmental morale by the use of lame jokes and inane, spontaneous comments about people or situations within its confines. Here is a good example of that.
Scuba doo, scuba doo, Mary, scuba doo. That cat deep. Scuba doo.
That is fun. But morale was even further elevated by him by not lifting a finger to help coworkers with the more mundane, arduous, unglamorous responsibilities such as processing special orders, checking inventory levels, stocking shelves, emptying boxes, things like that. Instead, he would go into the lab manager's office to complain about such unprofessional, hard, mind-numbing tasks and not getting paid enough to do them, while eating cake and drinking coffee with Mr. Bao. So kudos to Lab Tech Junior Marty, the Heritage Healthcare System Employee of the Month, for routinely accomplishing one half the production while taking twice as long and complaining twice as much as his coworkers. The burden they bear as Marty carries out his assignments in the lab pathology department. This is Gordon Zernich for Walking Dead Witness News. Have a good night.